From hardcore stunting to ripping around town, starting as a humble replacement for the FXR, and today stuck in a trend that's been beaten to death. Perhaps the most overrated Harley of all time. Man, that offended a few million people. This is the history of the Harley Davidson Dyna. But first, my name is Levi, and on this channel we look at the history of everything Harley Davidson. So if you're into that, leave a like on this video and subscribe. Thank you for all the crazy support on the last video. Did not expect that. Let's get into it. Okay, so the overrated comment might have been a hot take, but listen, I actually like the Dyna. I've had 3 of them, and I've ridden countless miles. So, you may be asking, what even is a Dyna? Why are they so popular? Why should I want one over a softail? We're going to hopefully answer all those questions for you today, and more. If you already like the Dyna, then real quick, comment below your favorite model. And disclaimer, we're not looking at the anniversary bikes because this video would be an hour long. Before we go over the real one, let's take a look at what primed the start. Back in the day, full-size Harleys had a big, bulky front end with a headdress and overall just big prominence. That all changed in 1971 when the original Super Glide was released. Model code for the Super Glide was the FX. Basically, it was just a Sportster front end on a full-size Harley. Besides the whole boat tail thing they had going on, this bike was actually a masterpiece. Call it the mullet of all Harleys. Fast forward 20 years, and the FXR was going strong, but was getting expensive to produce. The Sturgis Rally was also about to hit its 50th anniversary. Harley decided to create a new swing arm frame that kept the rubber-mounted engine with some classy black paint, elegant orange accents, and overall a sporty look. It's basically a rubber-mounted Evo take on the 82 FXB. They tested the waters. The reviews were generally positive when it came to vibration and styling, but on the other hand, many preferred the stiffer handling of the FXR, which at the end of the day was a pretty similar bike. The only main thing was the frame being different. Now, I'll be honest, at this point, I don't think people saw the Dyna as the superior in the lineup. Many point out the problems. The Dyna death wobble, the really flowy ride with the stock suspension, and other small things. Just like the Sturgis model we talked about, 1992 brought the FX DB Daytona. I don't really know what the B stands for, but it's FX Dyna something. The Daytona was the new one. It was the contrasted version of the Sturgis one. Bright colors, lots of chrome, fancy tank scheme. Looks pretty good. A new standard was also set with the Dyna in 92 because alongside the Daytona, the Dyna Custom was born. Designation for that was FXDC. Basically, it was the same bike as the DB, dual disc mounted to a 39mm front end, mid controls, and the TAC Speedo combo in the dash. From everything I've seen, there was only a single color option, silver and black, two-tone with red pinstriping, surrounding a blonde engine. If there's anything else that you guys know, put it down below. Why the name Custom? Well, Harley wanted the consumer to believe that the Dyna was the bike that they could customize to their liking more than any other. And based on today's trends, it seems to ring true. The next year, in 1993, there was a huge step for the platform. First, we got to get one of the most hated Dynas out of the way, the Wide Glide. Hear me out. I've had 2 Wide Glides. I've taken day trips on them, went around town, even done some twisty roads with them. They are very much looked over in the community because it's not your typical Dyna bro bike, and that's kind of what's in. Back in 93, the Wide Glides were actually liked. You know, they had a smooth ride, the old school look, and some pretty cool features. It was the first Dyna to get 41mm forks, a bobbed rear fender, and 34 degrees of rake instead of the standard 32. The triple trees were further apart, hence the name Wide Glide, 21 spoke wheel in the front, and mini ape handlebars from the factory. It was simple, having just a speedometer on the dash and forward controls. So like, what are your honest opinions on the Wide Glide? Well, enough about that. Let's get to one of the most loved Dynas. That same year, we got the Dyna Lowrider. I've seen them both with spoke and mag wheels, but generally they were mostly dual disc back then. I'm sure there are exceptions. Back to mid controls paired with a lower seat height, it was really just a refined custom. 1994 was a repeat of the prior, but believe it or not, 1995 existed, introducing the official Dyna Super Glide, or just FXD. It was the baseline model by today's standards. Again, I've seen both spoke and mag, but mag seemed to be the more common set. Single disc front end, but they cut the rake down to 28 degrees. Keep in mind, this was the last year of the FXR, so they had to bring some features over to the Dyna. The speedometer was moved to the riser clamp and put the fuel gauge in the dash right below the gas cap. Why the shorter rake? Well, so many people love the Sportster for its nimble handling, the steering is quick, and the bike just feels lighter up front. And it gives it a sharp look. The Dyna Superglide is basically just a full-size Sportster. Something new arose alongside the Dyna Superglide. It was the convertible, or FXDS. Not sure where the S comes from. Featuring dual disc, Mickey Mouse ear gauges, and the same 28-degree rake of the Superglide, the main attraction was that it came with a windshield and saddlebags, making it a light touring machine. And with just 5 minutes of work, you could strip it down and make it a standard Dyna, and vice versa. After the death of the FXR, the Dyna was on top in terms of light cruiser. The Evolution engine is still claimed to be the greatest Harley motor, so that being the power plant was a major plus, but that would not last much longer. Harley would not release a new model for the Dyna until the year 1999. All previous models would be changed to the Twin Cam 88, which is a solid engine, with some flaws here and there. I'm looking at you, Cam Chest. The most popular Dyna from the era was released in the same year, the Dyna Superglide Sport, or, as you all know, FXDX. It was a blacked out bike with a simple paint scheme, mag wheels, dual disc, and that same 28 degrees of rake. Just like the convertible, it has the dual gauges on the riser clamp. These are loved and hated, but in my opinion, the Mickey Mouse ear setup looks awesome. It kept the fuel gauge in the dash like a traditional Superglide, and the best part was the suspension. Showa made a dual disc cartridge style front end that was very adjustable, so you have fluid flow knobs, dampening controls, and internal valves. The forks were also about 1.5 inches longer. In today's market, even a highly used complete front end sells for like $1,500 to $2,000. Now in the rear, you had taller shocks with 2 adjustable points, a dampener that could be tuned with a flathead screwdriver, and ride height that's changed by a regular spanner wrench. This made for a bike that could handle a lot more than your traditional Superglide, and yet looked a lot sleeker in my opinion. 2001, Harley created a light touring version of this, thus introducing the FXDXT, or Dyna T Sport. It practically was a replacement for the FXDS convertible, which was killed off that year, so whatever. This bike was identical to the Dyna Sport, except for the addition of the iconic fairing, as well as zip-out soft bags. If you want one today in rideable condition, you're gonna have to shell out some good money. Having the second shortest run, the DXT stopped production in 2003. From my observations, this has got to be one of the most sought-after Dynas. Your favorite Harley's back, the FXDWG2, or Switchblade. It was the Screamin' Eagle bougie bike. Keep in mind, this was before CVO was the thing. Only 1,465 of these were made, so on top of being a rare bike, man, it is bright. But here's one you didn't know about, the FXDP, or Dyna Defender. It was a police model that came with a windshield, floorboards, dual disc, and a tad bit of a hotter cam. It was a police bike, so hard bags are a must. They look to be the same bags that was on the FXRP back in the day. It didn't really catch on due to police gravitating towards Kawasaki, but some departments used them. And just when you thought it was over, here it is again, the FXDWG3. Whew, that's a long name. Another Screamin' Eagle bike for 2002. This one looks a lot better with the blue and silver paint, and if you're into chrome, it's got more than your grandpappy's old 55 Chevy. More rare than the last Dyna Wide Glide, there were only 1,011 ever made. That is a weird number. The Dyna Defender police bike ended in 2004, while the DX was killed off just a year later. Now I tell you what, the Dyna was selling just fine, but it wasn't even near the peak we were about to see. But hey, before we go any further, I just want to say these videos take a long time to make, like a literal full work week. A lot of research, scripting, editing, and energy, so if you want to support me, leave a like and subscribe for more. I do this for literally free. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and yeah, comment what bike you want me to do research on next. Anyways, back to the video. "2006 awoke the new Dyna." What does that mean? Well, basically an entire new bike. An improved frame was brought in that tackled some of the issues that owners had with the previous models. Fuel injection was becoming standardized on every big twin model, and let's talk about that engine. The 2006 Dyna still had the Twin Cam 88, but something changed with the experimental top end. This is in quote from the unknown source. The Dyna had the 1 year where it became a bastard. That's why when you go looking for parts, it may say fits 1999 to 2011 Dyna, except 2006. The engines were like a 88-96 hybrid. One thing I thought was cool is that the Dyna was the first platform to receive the 6-speed cruise drive transmission. That's before the baggers. Another debated change that occurred was how Harley switched all Dynas to 41mm tubes. This gave a slightly smoother ride and a beefier look. But wait, 2 new models were thrown into the lineup. First off, a throwback to that original 71 FX we talked on earlier, the Super Glide Anniversary. I know I said we weren't going to talk about it, but this one's just cool. The designation for it is FXD35. It's just your standard dyno with an AMF era paint job, slick 2-up seat, spoke wheels, and limited to only 3,500 bikes. These are pretty cool in my opinion, but the next one's even better. The Dyna Street Bob reminds me of the DX. Lots of black, had a little wider of a tire wrapped around a spoke wheel, 2-degree, raked triple trees, solo seat, single tank mounted gauge, and honestly, just a slick looking bike. That entire segment was just 2006. But hey, it's 2007. The wide glides now have 49mm tubes paired with triple trees that added 2-degree more rake for a total of 36. Shout out to the wide glide. All the Dynas got the bigger, better 96-inch twin cam, except for this. Screamin' Eagle's back with the FXD SE. Not a wide glide anymore. 2 paint schemes, same color, just inverted. Tons of chrome, overall an awesome looking bike. And did I mention this would be the first time the Dyna would get the 110-inch twin cam? Not much else really happened this year. I mean, they can't really top the previous. For the greatest Dyna ever made comes the 2008 Dyna Fat Bob, or FXDF. I'm just kidding, like for real. Who actually likes these things? That was a joke. Don't take it personal. Dual headlights, chunky tires, solid wheels, wide glide front end. In my opinion, if you want this bike, I think you're more looking towards a Fat Boy. But hey, you do you. Continue to make it till 2017, so people must have liked it. It does have the bobbed fender that the wide glide's got, and a decently cool exhaust, which you're gonna rip off anyways, because who likes stock exhaust? Most of the bikes came with a satin finish, which did kind of fit the theme. Back again is the FXD SE2. Man, that is a name. Same exact bike from 2007, except this one was bright red. Then they also had like the CVO Screamin' Eagle anniversary one with the copper and stuff, which I think looks kind of beautiful, if I'm being honest. And I hinted at it before, but here it is. What truly made the Dyna so popular? Why does everybody want a black Dyna with T-bars, T-sport fairing, those LED turn signal mirror things? A little show called Sons of Anarchy. You know the show. It's the one with the 30 black Dynas and then the white one. I mean, I'm not meaning to offend anybody, just voicing my comedic opinions. Yeah, the show ran for like 7 or 8 years. It's most definitely boosted Dyna sales and popularized the trend of bike accessories known as club-style Dynas. Before I get that angry guy in the comments, well, actually, I'm not saying the show started the trend. I'm just saying it jumped its prominence. Anyways, why am I saying all this? Well, I just have to let you know how rapidly the Dyna platform would grow from here. Boom. 2009 happened. The Great Recession. Numerous planes crashing into the ocean for some reason. War in the Middle East and new fenders on select Dynas. That was an interesting sentence. The Wide Glide and Street Bob got this new sleek cut fender. I'm kind of conflicted on how I think about it. It's smooth, but that OG Dyna fender is already perfect. The next couple of years didn't really bring in anything new, but the following era of Dynas would be the beginning of the end. The year 2012 would change the Dyna platform for the rest of its life cycle. Hated on almost as much as the Wide Glide, there was this thing called the Dyna Switchback, or FLD. I think it's the only Dyna that does not start with FX. The FL code is for touring, and D is for Dyna, believe it or not. I think it's a solid bike. I mean, much like the convertible 15 years prior, the Switchback could be a decent touring bike and easily converted to a street bike. It had some really cool mag wheels, quick detach windshield, full-size fenders, low to the ground, came with mini floorboards. The Switchback had a lot of firsts for the Dyna. It was the only one to come with hard bags, besides the police model. The only one to have a 7-inch headlight with the headdress. And I'm pretty confident in saying that's the only Harley to receive these mag wheels. Not 100% sure on that, but if you can find a source otherwise, please let me know. I don't care what people say. It's a solid bike, and I was fortunate enough to have one in my garage and actually ride it a decent amount. Though it may just be a baby road king, it feels good, looks good, keeps up with the big boys. Wait, what do you mean by keeps up? Oh yeah, Harley's new 103 twin cam. For the first time, Harley is standardizing a triple-digit displacement, but not for every Dyna. The Street Bob and the Super Glide were stuck with the 96-inch. 2012 also had some other great features. ABS was available as an option. I know people have mixed feelings on that, but the majority like it for everyday riding. CAN bus, not cannabis, was also becoming standard in all Harleys. CAN bus is a more reliable electrical system that basically refined the fuel injection, gave more accurate readings for gauges, and best of all, allowed for simple LED conversions without a load equalizer. 2013 was much of the same story, but with different colors. Now, 2014 though, special year for the Dyna. In particular, the Super Glide. The FXD and the beloved Street Bob would finally get the 103 twin cam. 2 years late, Harley. Good job. But I guess it was perfect timing because the Super Glide and Super Glide Custom would no longer be in the lineup for 2015. So if you have a 2014 Super Glide, it's the only one to have the twin cam 103. But hey, that Street Bob took the stage for the top Dyna, until the next year when Harley would drop a bombshell of a bike. 2016 would be a crazy year. Remember early in the video when the Dyna Lowrider was introduced? It's kind of been sitting in the shadows for years. People loved them and they rode them hard, but it just got better. The Dyna Lowrider S. Dual disc, bronze mags, tiny fairing, and adjustable suspension. Not to mention the fresh twin cam 110. Best part is you can choose whatever color you wanted from the dealership, as long as it was vivid black. If I ever had the chance, I would absolutely love to ride one of these around for a day. And as for the rest of the Dyna models, they would all be upgraded to the twin cam 103 HO, which means high output. Basically, a tad bit more compression backed up by a mild cam, making roughly 8 to 10% more power over the standard 103. At least that's what Harley claimed, so like don't shoot the messenger. Midway through 2016, Harley offered cruise control, but only for the Lowrider S. 2017, as most of you know, was the final year for the Dyna. Not a ton left to say. Though the Dyna died, it's still one of the most popular bikes on the road. Harley Davidson stopped the Dyna, but many models today are a direct influence. For example, look at the 2024 Lowrider S. Look at the Street Bob. It's back in black with the sleek fender and slim looks. There's no community like the Harley community, but within that, there is none like the Dyna community. Whether you are a straight Dyna bro that lives off of Monster Energy and wears checkered bands, or just the casual guy that wants to take his Dyna out for a weekend trip, it has to be one of the most popular Harleys ever made. Through 26 years of production, 17 different models, and 6 engines, the DualShock masterpiece that is the Harley Davidson Dyna has and will continue to live on through the company's legacy. If you made it this far in the video, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. Like the video if you enjoyed it, comment one thing you learned along with any ideas for my next one. Subscribe if you're new, and don't forget, as long as you're in the wind, 2 wheels is 2 wheels. I'll see you all in the next video. Ride safe. And if you can't do that, ride hard.